I still have tremor, but it's much better than that.
Tell us about how you're doing today.
A ton better than before I came in here. I would highly recommend coming in here.
Oh, thank you.
If you have problems like I did. I was on 6 bad pills that I didn't want to take for pain and headache, and I've been able to lower it to 2, and I feel better than I did on 6. Pain in my head, it felt like it would explode. Biggest thing this gave me was hope.
Cool.
I had 0 hope. All they were going to do is put me on more and more medication and do nothing to make me better. Every 3 months I went in and they would adjust the medication. I'm doing pretty good.
Is that better than it normally would be?
Yes, I used to, in the middle of the night, my whole body would shake.
And how you doing now?
Haven't had that at all for
No way.
I don't know how long. It was awful.
Terrible.
Nothing I could do about it. My whole body would just shake.
All right, here we are with Joan. She's been diagnosed with Parkinson's, been to a lot of medical doctors.
Really?
And she was taking 6 different medications, and now her doctors have got her down to 1 based on the results that we've helped get her. She used to suffer with severe pressure pain in her head, the dizziness, sharp, deep pain in her gut, and that was maybe the hardest one to get rid of, and the smell that she hadn't had in many years, and the lightning pain in her face. Joan, tell us how you've done coming in here. What do you notice get better first?
My head, the pressure and pain in my head is gone.
So with Joan, she had so much congestion at the top of her neck that it was blocking cerebrospinal fluid from being able to go in and clean out the brain plaque and exit. All of us currently, right now, as you're watching this, you have cerebrospinal fluid that's flowing right in and out of your brain, and your cells release metabolic waste. So those neurons up in the brain, they're releasing this waste every single day after they do all their work. And as you look at a cell, I'll show you real quick. The cells are a little economy of things going on, and they release waste, and then the cerebrospinal fluid comes through and cleans it out. But if you have a physical misalignment of that top bone, it's just like a valve in a plumbing system, that fluid gets blocked, and that turned into pressure. Can you describe what that pressure felt like?
My head would blow up.
How her daughter would get phone calls from her describing this pain every day while she would be in indescribable pain every single day. And that resolved pretty quickly. And how about sharp, deep pain in your gut? Can you point to where the pain was in your gut?
Well, right here and in my back. Radiated to my back.
So while we resolved the issue in her brain and all that pressure, and her symptoms started improving in the dizziness, she still had pinpoint pain right here in the center of her upper 2 quadrants of her abdomen. And that continued. We had her on a regimen of several supplements, right?
Yes.
To help with the inflammation in the gut. There's several different supplements we use, particularly for her. And she was very devoted to doing them. And she also purchased a Vielight for her brain, which is infrared light that goes into the brain and stimulates new neurons to form, according to studies at UCSF in San Francisco and Harvard Medical School when they did a study with Alzheimer's. But they're finding this can stimulate new gray matter to form, and it stimulates new cellular connections, and it oxygenates the tissue and illuminates the cells so that they have more energy. This laser that we use, also by Vielight, is another one that we have. And it took several more months than everything else, but finally, after being on the right supplements and lasering this area, that laser light was able to heal the tissue and literally regenerate that tissue according to what the studies would show. So the light has that capacity to accelerate wound healing.
Just with sharp, heavy pain, and I'd be almost stop what I'm doing. But now it's pretty much gone.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us what's improved since using that light device.
Okay, so this is what I looked like 3 years ago.
The shaking.
The tremor that I had. And I still have tremor, but it's much better than that.
Oh yeah.
And even off of my medication here.
What do you attribute the change to?
Well, the only thing I've done is the hat, the light hat, and I'm like 60% better than I was.
That's amazing. Anything else? Or just those two
Not
things?
that I noticed.
So
mostly the tremor.
the tremor was the biggest thing that
Yeah,
changed.
yeah.
But it does something to the brain, huh?
It does.
So you recommend it for other people with Parkinson's?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's not voodoo.
So Stephen here, we've got him connected to a number of different lasers. First of all, we're doing the Vielight, written right there on the front, Alpha device here. And we also have him set up to the Vielight X Plus, which is shooting infrared light to the base of his brainstem. This was designed specifically with Harvard researchers like Dr. Hamblin and others to get to the deeper part of the brainstem. This also is designed for these neurodegenerative conditions, as this is shooting infrared diode light behind the face into the brain, which is the rostral part of the brain in there. This does penetrate and goes into the brain just as much as all this does. These have a pulse rate to them that's changing the brainwave patterns. There's either 10 hertz, which is alpha, or gamma. We've chosen to do alpha with him today. And we're just getting rid of oxidative stress, decreasing inflammation, and stimulating the brain to create more ATP and have better oxygen flow to get to tissue. It actually opens up blood vessels so better flow can get through to them. And it's going to, literally, this device, the Vielight Neuro, has been designed to stimulate new neurons to form in the brain, according to UCSF in San Francisco and lots of other medical universities and studies. Very cool stuff. Wonderful nurse who's taking care of her mom and tells what condition she has and what symptoms she has.
Well, she has Parkinson's, and for a long time she's had a lot of head pressure. They first thought that it was trigeminal neuralgia.
That's face pain, trigeminal neuralgia, and pressure in her head, and tell us how bad the pressure was.
She would call me and text me several times a day telling me she felt like her head was going to explode and asking me what she could do for it.
She felt like her head was going to explode.
Yes.
Can you imagine having pressure in your head that's so expansive that it's just moving pressure outward? What does that mean for the tissue of the brain? That means every system of the body is going to be impacted because of that. And what happened after she came in and we started doing treatments with the top of her neck?
Immediately her pain was a lot less. It started that she had a little bit of pain on the top of her head, and it's a little bit of left-sided face pain, sometimes pressure behind her ear, but nothing like it was before.
So does she call you complaining about pressure in her head?
No, I haven't had any calls or complaints about pain.
And what do the doctors recommend for this?
The only option they had was levodopa.
What is levodopa? Is levodopa healthy and wonderful to help her health?
No, the side effects outweigh the benefits by far.
So the doctors are going after this complex neurologic issue. They would never think about going to a chiropractor, but because we work up here and specialize with these types of conditions every single day, this intracranial hypertension and all the pressure and all the pain, it affects the health in 100 different ways or 1,000,000 different ways. And as we take that pressure away and the facial pain goes away and the pressure in the head goes away, her body's starting to function better.
Yeah, she has more energy and she can do things.
That's awesome. So this is based on her x-rays. We derive the physics on the XYZ coordinate plane to know exactly how to realign that bone. And this would never realign a normal bone in the spine, but the atlas is not normal. There's no disc between there. It's very freely movable, so this subtle vibrational impulse will move it. And let's have you scoot over this way, let your head fall. Her tissue on this side is very inflamed from years of being misaligned. I'm gonna grab the shoulder and just like this. Just let your head fall. This is right where the bone is. We can't touch the atlas bone from the back. We can only access it here from the side right behind the ear. Well, if we were to come in here and manipulate physically, these muscle receptors up here protect. When we come in with this tool, the muscles don't do anything except just chill, and we're able to easily move this bone. So don't move, just breathe deeply. Good, that's it, there you go. Let's go ahead and lay on your back. Let your legs go down. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, oh, there it is, it's perfectly even, so you can see her legs. Come on over here, you can see. So the bottom of her feet are almost perfectly even. I mean, they're just lined right up. And we're gonna fill her back. That feels Feels what? Did you say I think she likes the way that feels better than before. I'm going in there pushing through the muscles. They were really tight before, especially on this one side. So look, when the top bone of the neck is rotated and one side's much tighter than the other, it causes a distortion pattern all the way down. So we're looking at observing that her leg was uneven before. There was a severe amount of tightness that was very painful for her and very tight that I could feel. Felt like a rope. And when we realign the top bone, this releases completely. So we can tell that her bone is realigned, which is going to improve all these other functions besides the tension through her spine. Her body's going to be able to go through this process of continuing to feel better. Pretty cool. How's that pressure feel?
I feel fine. I feel good.
Yeah. Okay, let's go rest you, okay? How to realign those. How do you feel?
Much better. I came in with pressure and headache, and it's relieved. It's gone. My forehead and the top of my head.
And can you describe what that pressure felt like and how bad it is?
Like my brain is exploding.
As a nurse, tell us how she describes this pain and how often she used to describe it.
It'd be several times a day. She'd say that her head was going to explode or she felt like her eyeballs were going to pop out.
How long has that been going on?
It got really bad last fall and has been happening multiple times a day since then.
And the top two bones of her neck are rotating opposite directions. The bones are not supposed to do that. They're supposed to rotate together. But looking down here, if this bone is rotated one way and this bone's rotated the other, it's going to be worse, especially when you add with posture, which compresses this space. This cerebral spinal fluid has a little bit of space to go through, and it's always moving. Right now, your cerebral spinal fluid is circulating very quickly, and at night it goes 40% faster in an attempt to get the cells of your brain. Imagine these cells. There's a little economy. They release their waste and poop and debris, and then that fluid comes through and sweeps it out. If it's pinched here from a double rotation and bad posture, is it any surprise that her fluid cannot exit properly? The other way it exits is once your brain gets good oxygenated blood flow coming through this artery, the vertebral artery or the carotid artery, it goes through and perfuses the brain, and then it exits through this hole called the jugular foramen. But guess what? That is millimeters in front of the atlas, the front of this atlas bone, and hers is really rotated, so her veins can't even drain blood flow. So it's cerebral spinal fluid and venous drainage trying to get through this tiny little space on both sides. In the medical field, can a medication correct that?
No.
No. Can a surgery fix that?
No.
No. A lot with your Parkinsons, and you're off. How many of your meds were you taking?
I'm off everything I was taking.
Now, I didn't take you off those, but your daughter's a nurse, and you guys figured out a way to do that.
Yeah, it took weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months to get off them because you have to come off them gradually.
And how are you doing compared to when you were on them?
Better. I'm better than I was when I was on them. I'm feeling better. I have hope.
Awesome. Tell me, you went to your medical doctor recently?
Yes. I wanted to share with him because he's the first one I went to after I saw the periodontist with my head problems, and he's the first one who gave me one of those prescriptions.
Yeah.
And he was totally uninterested
In what?
in my treatment, that I'm off the medications. I felt like he thought I wasn't smart or something. I don't know.
So he was uninterested. Oh, in your progress, what did you tell him?
I told him I'm off all the medications and I'm doing better, and I explained to him how you x-rayed my head and my spine and that things were counter-rotated or something and pinching, and that was what was causing the problem in my head.
What you had, it felt like explosive pressure in your head, right?
I always explained my head pain as I felt like my head was going to explode.
And so when you
And
shared
I had
that, you don't have that
dizziness
anymore? So you don't have dizziness
no.
and all this, and he wasn't excited about
He
this?
wasn't even interested.
Really?
I thought he would be interested.
You're shaking your head over here. What do you feel?
Well, it's just my mom, and I love her dearly, and we've been on this journey for a long, long time, and to see your mom in a lot of pain, it's very saddening. And since she's been coming here, I don't understand the medical aspect of a patient who is on 3 or more medications and then her coming off and feeling well. And I notice as her daughter, because I go over a couple times during the week, her tremors are less. She would tell me at night it felt like she was having a heart attack in her brain, that she couldn't move or yell for help, and I'd be worried for my mom, but my mom seems to be doing so much better. And for me, just as an individual, I just don't understand that from a medical point of view.
You don't understand why they wouldn't be interested?
Why they wouldn't be interested in, oh wow, you're off these medications, and wow, you are making progress.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
they like, want to write it down? Like, what was the name of this collection?
Yeah, where'd you go? Who'd you see?
What was the claim they made? Like, okay, so you're doing better. Okay, you are doing better on our metrics, but they didn't seem excited about that.
Totally uninterested.
Very sad.
Just like,
We run into this. This is pretty much the main story we hear from people that when they go to their doctor after the
I
lesions
thought-
on the MRI are gone and their MS or their other condition is better or gone. I haven't heard someone yet say, "Wow, my doctor was so interested. They wanted to find out what you do. They wrote it down. They just say, "Oh, well, don't go back to them still." No, that's what we're up against. So we're trying to help. Glad it's helping.
yeah, it's terrible that I couldn't believe it.
I know. We should all be open-minded to different outcomes and ideas, especially when the results are in front of us. All right, here's an update with Joan, our Parkinson's patient. She had Parkinson's and diagnosed trigeminal from how many different doctors confirmed these diagnoses?
2 neurologists.
2 neurologists confirmed this diagnosis, which we'll include here. But can you tell us another change that's happened after 6 years? I mean, what function came back?
I can smell things.
How do you know she's smelling things?
She is smelling things. She smelled cereal in the car the other day. She smelled it even before I did.
And this has been a while?
I can't remember the last time I could smell,
Yeah.
but just recently I've started it's been so long don't trust that I'm really smelling it, but I said to Heather, I smell something kind of sweet. We were in the car. Am I smelling something? And she said,
Did you
Yes.
believe her?
Yeah, she's smelling.
And you've been monitoring her for 6 years, and she's never been able to smell for that long.
Yeah.
So isn't that amazing? So I want you to think about, too, one of the things she wants to improve is her memory, which we're doing because of unlocking the cerebrospinal fluid through unlocking the atlas bone. Her brain pressure and all that's gone down, and her cerebrospinal fluid is obviously circulating, clearing out brain plaque more, which will result in improved memory, which we see all the time. Another thing is the Vielight headset with the light stimulating new cells to grow and improving oxygen flow through the brain, which will improve memory in like that Harvard study and other ones, and we've seen a lot of that with our patients. Among other things, we're also working on our gut with a protocol, the gut restoration protocol, with lasering the gut and doing some supplements and things. The second brain in the gut has a direct result on how the brain functions. But to see after a month or two or whatever we're doing of care, you've seen it. Can you give us some more examples of how your smells improved?
well, I had hand sanitizer in the car, and when other people would use it, they'd say it stinks. I never smelled it. It was fine for me. I couldn't smell it. And then the other day I used the hand sanitizer and it stunk. And I was so glad.
It was so stinky. Have you smelled anything else that's stinky?
Yeah,
Or
the
good.
trash in the kitchen. I told my foster son, and he said he didn't smell anything because he didn't want to take out the trash.
And what was in the trash? Was it stinky though? Were you right?
Yeah, it was old banana peels.
She smelled some pain reliever cream. I had been using it on her for a couple months, and then one day she just finally smelled it.
So here's something that's interesting. When we're talking about one of her goals of care is getting her memory to improve, the fact that her smell is coming back, which isn't surprising to us, her smell is coming back. Smell is very highly correlated with memory. Her smell is starting to improve. They even find people with dementia, if they can be given a smell, it'll bring back a flood of memories or help them have an emotional trigger. And so we know if her smell is coming back, we're going to start seeing that memory improve, hopefully, okay?
Yes.
That's so
what
cool.
We want his memory.
And we never told you to expect smell to come back.
No.
This is just
No,
spontaneous.
he never
Yeah.
said a thing about smell.
Isn't this cool? You guys are awesome. Thanks for sharing those great stories. Hey, here we are today with Joan. Say hello.
Hi. My head is almost completely fine.
Wow, that's
Every
amazing.
now and then I feel just a little pressure, but I'm doing great.
And it goes away right after each visit because the top bones are twisted.
And I thought I'd never get off the medication. I thought I was on it for the rest of my life.
Video. Tell us what's the new change that you've been noticing lately.
Well, I just had a dream last night that I had a bird that I didn't feed or water, and I was afraid it was going to die.
Yeah, that's terrible. So how long has it been since you've been dreaming?
Years and years.
So
I
her
don't
dreaming
remember.
came back. She never remembers her dreams. Her dreams are coming back. Her smell is coming back. Her function is coming back. Her brain is doing better. It's not placebo, obviously. So beyond the chiropractic adjustments, which is restoring the normal cerebral spinal fluid flow, we've been giving her the Vielight headset, huh?
Yes.
And how do you feel with that? Do you like it?
Yes, I do.
That's helping
great.
her memory. That's going to start helping with these dreaming, and it's a very, very common side effect of the Vielight, the photobiomodulation, which is the light penetrating into the brain. It increases cell numbers. There's a University of California, San Francisco study that just came out showing that the Vielight device specifically is increasing cell numbers and oxygenation through the tissue. One of the most common side effects is people start saying, hey, I'm starting to dream more vividly. Or if they don't dream, they actually start dreaming. That's a cool sign that the brain's functioning better. And I'm just glad to see you.
Yahoo! We want the brain to function better.
Instead of going downward.
Thanks to Dr. Salisbury.
Yeah, well, thanks to all this cool technology and these cool
He doesn't
techniques.
take the compliments.
But thank you anyways, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. The coolest thing to know is most doctors are monitoring this sort of a condition while people just decline and get worse and fall apart.
That's
We're
what
here.
was happening to me.
That's what was happening.
I would go in, they would increase my medication and not do anything to make me better. I
That's
just
called
knew I was
medicine.
gonna
That's called
die,
science.
that's all I
People
knew.
fall over themselves saying, oh, look how scientific we are. These things are important to be monitoring, but if we're enhancing people's function and objectively getting them to improve their life, this should be mainstream medicine. And it's funny that they call this alternative when we're actually fixing the problem. Isn't that interesting? So it makes you really wonder when the whole medical system is built around good things in some places, but it's very, very limited. It really is. No matter how much schooling a doctor has, you got to remember they always have a limited belief and understanding of what they're able to do, okay? But not the body, and we're enhancing your body, and your body knows how to fix the problem.
Thank you, Dr. Salisbury.
You're welcome. And she sent a lot of family members and other people into our clinic with various conditions, and I think all of them have gotten better with pretty much everything.
Yes, yes. With Maddie, they said doctors told her she'd need surgery on her knee.
Oh, yeah.
And
2 knees. Yeah, they said you won't be able to dance for a whole year. We have to do surgery on your knees because the physical therapy wasn't able to help.
now it's all better. The pain is gone. She's thrilled.
How about your other grandson with his shoulder injury, and he's a pitcher in baseball, and he's been able to get back to throwing multiple innings instead of just
Yes.
1 inning or 2 innings and having to sit out. And he's able to go further and longer with more playing.
Yeah.
They even scouted him down in Florida. They called him and said, hey, we need someone to come down on our club team to help us win. And he was able to go down and play and keep up with it from the adjustments and laser in the shoulder. We've got a video of that. And you have other family members that come up with migraines and severe headaches and different types of things they've always gone to the doctor for. And did they ever find solutions for those things?
No, just pills.
Pills are the solution. Well, in reality, pills are a substitute for actually finding the cause and fixing the problem. Sometimes pills have a purpose and long-lasting purpose, but many times when someone comes in and they're on 6 different meds, tell us how it was coming off of those meds.
Wonderful. I don't like being on meds.
Yeah, and those side effects that they have.
And now I don't get the headaches, and my head doesn't feel like it's going to blow up.
Amazing. And tell us about how excited were your doctors to get you off your medication?
They didn't seem to be that excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited that she's off her meds. Are you excited?
Yes.
But your doctors weren't very
They
excited?
didn't have any emotion about it. I took me off them.
Okay. Well, with the help of your daughter,
Uh-huh.
who's skilled in the medical world, and
Yeah.
going to your doctors, they allowed you to go off them, right?
Yeah.
Under their care. Okay. But thanks for sharing that, and we just want to get the word out for everybody dealing with these things. So the lasers and the nutrition and chiropractic were able to really help her get her life back, and you are amazing. Thanks for sharing that with people.
Thank you, Dr. Salisbury.
You're welcome.